Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and we cover every single game, no matter if it's a friendly, a Scottish Cup tie against lower league opposition, a European double-header against Bayern Munich. We will be there covering it. I'm here myself this evening, which isn't an issue because it gives me more opportunities to bring up as many comments as I possibly can in relation to Celtic's performance. Now, Claire Menery, I agree with your comment. I can't bring it up on the screen. Such are the expletives that you have chosen to use, unfortunately. By the way, Claire, just I will see you around at one of our gigs, I'm sure, very soon. But I was reading an old Not The View, and your name popped up in it. Did you used to write to Not The View or contribute to Not The View? Because I can't see there being many Claire Menerys supporting Celtic, and I did see your name in there. I also saw the Daily Record reporter, Michael Gannon, in there recently as well. Anyway, let's get back to the action. I'll let you know my thoughts. Please let me know yours. Let's start off with James Kirwan's take that Balacquishia is too lazy. We are playing a team from the sixth tier of Scottish football. Even though we have a few injuries, even though I think most of us will agree that this is not a good quality Celtic side as we stand, we should be light years ahead of a team playing at that level. We absolutely should. We should have a squad of players where you could play from start to finish your second string. And this is no disrespect to the opposition. You should be able to play your second string and still be a good 2 or 3 goals to the good at this point and back it up with a decent performance. We're nowhere near that. Balacquishia. Let's get to Balacquishia, James. Balacquishia, we have spent £5 million on this guy. He was playing at the African Cup of Nations recently, just a few weeks ago. We've got players on the park right now who'll be playing in the World Cup. They'll certainly be part of a squad, Tony Ralston, in the World Cup coming up this summer. Yet we've put in a performance that is dreadful, lacking in ingenuity, lacking in tempo, lacking in creativity, absolute lacking in fight, just rotten, absolutely rotten. We're a goal to the good. Okay, we'll talk about Johnny Kenny, but I'm going to start off with Balacquishia because this, for me, is in a nutshell what is wrong with this football club when it comes to recruitment, when it comes to ambition, when it comes to scouting, when it comes to blatting it with all the trophies and all the money in the bank. We spend money. They list the players every single September when you get the financial report. They give you a list of all the players whose registrations we have purchased. Balacquishia was one of them. £5 million. £5 million. How would £5 million work for Auchinleck Talbot? If you look at their overheads, if you look at their turnover, how many years would it keep them going? The entire football club. Decades. I've not worked it out. Decades. I don't even know if it's publicly known information. What is the turnover of Auchinleck Talbot? What is the turnover? I'm typing it in. Sorry. Right? Maybe I should know this. Maybe I should have done my research of Auchinleck Talbot Football Club, right? What is it? I don't know if it'll come up. That'll be interesting, right? Based on available information. A specific annual turnover is not publicly disclosed. Yeah, it's not going to be much, is it? It is not going to be much. I mean, whatever it is, you could run that football club for decades on the money that we spent on this imposter, because that's what he is. I'm sorry, guys. It's a frustration that I think gets to the point where you've just got to question everything that's going on here. Balacquishia, if you cannot do it on any night of the week against Auchinleck Talbot, you cannot do it. And I just think you just got to bring this to a close. This whole situation has to be brought to a close with this guy. It's not his fault, by the way. It's not his fault. I mean, Royal Antwerp fans, I think he was carried off on the shoulders of his teammates. He was given a standing ovation when he left that football club. Apparently, we had scouted him for 18 months. Who scouted him? Find out who scouted this guy. I know that Paul Tisdale was behind the signing. Paul Tisdale believes that he's a player. Paul Tisdale doesn't have a clue. Yet here we are, right? I mean, I remember when Martin O'Neill came in first time around, he had a few players like this kicking about that would spend quite a lot of money on. One of them was Raphael Scheidt. I take him tonight over Balacquishia. He's telling us he can't play left wing or right wing, so we play him as a number 10. He can't play football. I mean, he's not got a future at Celtic. Absolutely disgraceful performance so far by him. Auchinleck Talbot, they get a chance half an hour into the game. And I see the goalkeeper that many are shouting for to play on a regular basis for Celtic coming out to try and punch a ball. I'll tell you something, at the back post, if Talbot scored that goal, we're having a different conversation right now. We go up the park and we score a goal ourselves. Got to say, just before that, Stephen Welsh, who other than the one faux pas that he makes near the end of the first half, has had a decent enough game. He plays a ball through. An excellent ball, it's got to be said. I think it's through to Forrest. Nothing comes of it. But following up from that, McKeown heads on a Stephen Welsh crossfield ball. McKeown gets the header. And Kenny scores the goal. And Kenny, I'm glad he scored that goal because I'll tell you what, he was in the same bracket as Balacquishia going into this half-time analysis. What are we analysing here? Well, it's certainly no many chances. There was a Balacquishia chance 23 minutes into the game where he skies a perfect cross. It's a perfect cross. And he skies it high and wide. There was a chance prior to that in 5 minutes from a McKeown header and a Welsh pass, and Kenny gets a chance and he misses it. So it's been a really poor first half. And Shrugs Shoulders FC says green for goal. Shrugs Shoulders FC, that's Michael Nicholson. And there's been a lot of chants. Big shout out to every single Celtic fan at that game this evening on a Sunday night at a strange old time of 5:30 kickoff. There was a chant just before the 28-minute mark, sign a player, sign a player, sign a player. I'm starting to wonder if Shrugs His Shoulders FC knows how to do it. I'm starting to wonder if he actually knows the process. There's obviously a process, like a process of contacting the club stroke agent. There is a process that will be industry standard, let's call it, right? And I'm starting to wonder if this guy even knows how to do it. Michael Nicholson. Does he even know how to sign a player? Absolute shocking performance. And a big part of that is down to the fact that over a number of transfer windows, we have consistently underperformed as a football club, consistently performed in the boardroom. And then at some point this season, when Brendan Rodgers was resigned and Martin O'Neill came in for the first time, we've got to tell you whether it's the first or second. That's how chaotic this season's been. That Dermot Desmond thought it was right to lay the blame on one individual, that one individual being the ultra-divisive, self-serving Brendan Rodgers. Absolute nonsense. If there's anybody out there who still believes that, I'm sorry, you're being hoodwinked. This football club is being run by a bunch of amateurs, absolute amateurs. And we've put Martin O'Neill in charge of the team. And somehow he is maximising the ability of a group of players, many of whom are not fit for the jersey. I've mentioned a couple of them already. I was looking at that starting 11. The back four, something I never mentioned, are all homegrown players through the academy. We've got 6 starters on the park of the 11. And we've got 7 Scottish starters. I'm not sure when the last time was that we did that. But it would have been some time ago. Let us know. You might have picked up on the fact that I've not been very impressed with that first half or the state of play as it is at this moment in time. GNG comes in to say boring amateur level football, and that's us we're talking about. Yeah, it's rotten, absolutely rotten. Fair play to Auchinleck Talbot, by the way, for the way that they have approached this. I think in the second half we will wear them down. They've not kicked a ball since the 20th of December. We will wear them down. We'll win this game 2-3-0. 4 if we're lucky. We'll bring on some of the subs to add quality onto the park. But this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. We've got Italy to travel to on Thursday night to play against Bologna. And then we've got Tynecastle. And if we want to still be in this title race, we need to win the game against Hearts. We need to win that game against Hearts at the weekend. Let that sink in. This is torture to watch, David. Hopefully you're not talking about the stream, but you are talking about the first half. There you go. Telling you now, says our next commenter, John McCauley, Calmac is a serious issue for our midfield. Our midfield has been pretty poor this evening. I'm pretty sure you will agree with that. It's been rotten. Really, really poor, lacking in industry, lacking in muscle, lacking in creativity. I've not seen anybody grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck, for want of a better term, and commanding it and orchestrating it and outmanoeuvring our opposition, who are, I will repeat, playing in the sixth tier of Scottish football, pretty much non-league. We don't call it that anymore since the pyramids allowed, obviously, teams to climb up from these divisions into the Lowland or the Highland League and then eventually into the fourth tier of Scottish football. And as I say, fair play to these guys, part-time footballers and, working as personal trainers. One of them was mentioned as working as Jungle, mate, you need to calm down, mate. In the heat, I don't think he does. I think we're at the point now where this football club has been coasting for a long time. James Kirwan says, very poor first half from Celtic. Would like to see the keeper getting tested, not enough shots at goal. Fair play to Luke McCowan. At least Luke McCowan's trying some long-range efforts, albeit wide, wild, high, etc., etc. Any starting 11 from our first team squad of footballers, any starting 11 should be able to go out there and dismantle this side. Dismantle them, and we should be sitting 2, 3, 4 goals up. But the very fact that we're unable to do that, we play something of a shadow side, but there's enough quality in there. As I say, African Cup of Nations players, we've got potential World Cup players playing in that starting 11, and this is what they serve up. And it's really not good enough. No, I don't know what he was penalised for either, but that's the least of our worries. We're going to win the game. And the scoreline will say that we win the game fairly comfortably. But unfortunately, it's deeper than that. I mean, if you're Martin O'Neill, Sean Maloney sitting in the sidelines, you're raging going into half-time. Absolutely furious at the performance, the lack of energy, the lack of tempo, creativity, all these basics that, what is the Glasgow Celtic way? What is it? Fast, entertaining football going back to 1967, where the quote, I'm pretty sure, was coined. What was the Celtic way? Because it's not what we're seeing just now, is it? Jungle Lion comes in, enough is enough, and you also say fair play to every supporter there tonight. This board don't deserve you. The board, as I say, I mean, we've been running on fumes with this current board, haven't we? They've been there, a lot of them, for far too long, 21 years, 24 years, far too long. Dermot Desmond, 30 years, far too long. He's only there because of the amount of shares that he's got. And we're stale. And unfortunately, the staleness has permeated throughout the entirety of the football club. The only thing that I see with any energy now is the fans. Celtic supporters are the most important factor of Celtic. And the people that run the show have forgotten that. They speak down at us at press conferences. We don't even get in at them. They speak down at us rather at AGMs. They speak down at us outside football grounds. They tell us to behave. They tell us to calm down and all this kind of stuff, whilst making millions from this football club that we support. And it's got to the point now where there's various organisations that are trying to become mobilised and organised to do something for the betterment of Celtic. And we are treated with nothing but contempt by people who make millions from the football club. I do ask the question, who scouted Balacquishia, because the boy's not good enough. He doesn't look like a winger. He doesn't look like a number 10. Doesn't even look like a footballer tonight. Absolutely rotten. If no intensity, I'm not going to try the accent magnet CSE, but no intensity whatsoever. McCowan should be in the centre of midfield. Paul, he's the best out of the three. Bernardo has been given so many opportunities by so many different managers, and not once has he really put in a long period of consistent performances where you would say he's a starter. And that's a worry. When you consider when he came into Celtic and the amount of managers that he's played under, and he's never been able to staple his name on that starting 11. And you look at him tonight and you're thinking, mate, you should be absolutely bossing this. We keep going on about it, under 21 Portuguese captain. You don't look like it. Don't look like it tonight, Paulo. There we go. AGSE Tech. Bernardo passing safe and sideways and lacking a bit of quality and heart and passion and dig and drive and many other descriptive words that I could use. Let's go back to the second half, ladies and gentlemen. And let's hope that we can come back at full time on our reaction pod at the end of the game to talk about at least a few more goals. Thanks, everybody, for getting involved. Join us again at full time on A Celtic State of Mind.